Dear student friends, today we are going to deal with the topic Fluorides in carbon-based electronics. Fluoride is a generic term for any negatively charged fluorine. We use the generic term fluorinium for electron deficient, positively charged species derived from fluorines. One of the important issues in molecular conductors and superconductors is the dimensionality. Because of the low dimensionality, many organic conductors undergo metal insulator transitions at low temperature before showing superconductivity. This is due to the instability of the ground states, causing the formation of a charge density wave CdW or spin density wave SdW. When C60 was discovered, it was natural that a surge of interest arose since C60 solid is three-dimensional and exhibits higher symmetry. In fluorides, electron-donating alkali metals are regularly interspersed in a lattice of C60 molecules. The donated electrons are mobile between one C60 molecule and the next, turning the whole system into a metal. Upon cooling, these metallized fluorine crystals turn superconducting, and they do so at respectably high critical temperatures Tc of 20 Kelvin to 30 Kelvin. At first sight, this is no big deal because superconductivity in fluorides appears similar in many ways to that of conventional superconductors and unlike that in cuprates. For example, the symmetry of electron pairs whose condensation gives rise to superconductivity is conventional, that is S wave in fluorides, but unconventional, that is D wave in cuprates. In addition, the mechanism that glues the two electrons together to form the superconducting pair is conventional phonon exchange in fluorides, whereas an electronic and magnetic mechanism is more probable in cuprates because electron correlations are strong in these systems. However, according to proponents of the strongly correlated superconductivity theory, the difference between fluorides and cuprates may be more superficial than substantial. This theory identifies two basic elements that are common to fluorides and cuprates. First one is the contiguity between a Mott insulating and a metallic phase, and the second one is some spin selective electron-electron interaction, be it phononic or electronic in origin, favoring singlet spin pairing in the insulating state. It has been known for about a decade that fluorides can indeed be changed from metallic to Mott insulating by expanding the lattice. This was achieved in the past by inserting additional neutral molecules such as ammonia between the buckyballs. These molecules acted as spacers, exerting a kind of negative pressure and prying the lattice open. The Mott insulating state is antiferromagnetic. Nearest spins point to opposite to one another, but the spin of each C60 site is only 1 by 2 instead of 3 by 2, as one might have expected for 3 electrons per molecule. The low spin state is due to coupling to phonon vibrations known in molecular physics as the John Teller effect. Actually, metallic properties were found when alkali metals were doped into C60 solids, and subsequently superconductivity with relatively high Tc was obtained. Hence, various electron donors have been doped into C60 and Tc has reached around 30 to 40 Kelvin. Two general approaches can be undertaken for this insulation, that is carrier injection. The first one is substitution and the second one is intercalation. First one is substituting some C60 molecules with either electron-rich or electron-poor clusters. This is the same method as used for silicon. For example, a P-type or N-type semiconductor forms when silicon is replaced with either boron or phosphorus. In the case of fluorines, BC59 and NC59 clusters can be considered for hole and electron injection, and endohedral molecules such as La3 plus C82 3 minus can also be used. Second one is intercalation. A wide variety of species can be intercalated into the van der Waals galleries between the adjacent graphene sheets. Some of the graphite intercalation compounds such as KC8 are known to be superconducting with very low Tc. In contrast to the two-dimensional graphite, C60 solid is three-dimensional with large interstitial side spacings that can accommodate the intercalants. C60 intercalation compounds with alkali metals, alkaline earth metals, and some of other rare earth elements can also be prepared. C60 forms a van der Waals crystal in the solid state, reflecting the fact that it is a closed shell molecule with a relatively large gap between HOMO and LIMO molecular orbitals. It is important to note that the covalent character of the C60 solid is relatively stronger than that of the conventional van der Waals organic crystals when considering the optical and electronic properties of C60 solids. Since the icosahedral point group IH of the fullerene molecule is incompatible with the periodic translational symmetry, there are only two ways to incorporate it into a crystal lattice. The first one, the molecule itself undergoes a symmetry, breaking to a lower symmetry configuration that is consistent with the crystal symmetry. The second one is the molecules can be disordered. At room temperature, the C60 molecules crystallize into a FCC structure with the fullerene molecules residing at the corner and the face center positions of the cubic unit cell. In the FCC unit cell, there are two types of interstitial vacancies, the smaller tetrahedral and the larger octahedral sites. When mixed alkali metals are intercalated, in general the larger cations occupy the octahedral sites and the smaller ones the tetrahedral sites. An example is Na2CS C60, in which the two larger cations are accompanied in the octahedral sites and the smaller in the tetrahedral sites. This site selectivity has been shown by both X-ray and NMR measurements. In general, one finds that the structure is more stable with such a distribution of uneven sized cations. Thank you, students.